A program put in place to save homes in case of a wildfire saved homes in a wildfire.
It's like it's some miracle, but it's not a miracle.
The Colorado Republican Party sends out another hate-fueled email to help a state Senate candidate who wants nothing to do with the hate. An oil and gas company avoids having to pay a 7-figure fine and leaves behind wells that need to be cleaned up. And the state's okay with this.
This is not the ideal outcome.
Xcel has powered up its automated phone calls again, and thanks to you, it should not make you think the power is about to go off. And it's Friday. If anyone needs good news, well, apparently the governor thinks it's me.
Marshall, you always like to frame it in the most negative way possible.
Let's turn my frown upside down. Next. Before a Boulder County homeowner saw his home threatened by a wildfire, he was threatened by an insurance company that was going to drop him if he did not do fire mitigation around his home. So he did, just in time for it to work. 9 News reporter Kelly Reinke looks at how a program helps save properties in Boulder County.
It's like it's some miracle, but it's not a miracle.
Each decision brings an outcome.
This is where our mitigation efforts paid off.
Nick Schneider chose to minimize the threat of wildfire around his home in Boulder County.
The burned area is the entire perimeter of the house.
Wildfire mitigation helped push the Stone Canyon fire down a different path.
It reached a region where we had cut down all kinds of bushes, mowed down grasses. So the fire at this location basically ran out of fuel.
His home is now an island around burn scar, just like others in the canyon.
And being diverted around through the defensive measures here.
He credits his family's decision to remove landscaping that could catch their house on fire. If they didn't, their insurance company threatened to cancel their policy.
But as a result of climate change, the land is so much drier, the days are so much hotter, the risk of fire is so much higher.
They enrolled in a mitigation program just months before the Stone Canyon fire came to their backyard.
It's a combination of mitigation, the interventions from the fire department, and there's got to be some luck in there.
The more that people can do beforehand, the wider area that they take, the better they're setting up firefighters to go in and protect their homes.
Seth McKinney is the fire management officer for the Boulder County Sheriff's Office. He says choices like the Schneiders gave them an advantage and kept crews safe.
Help us go in and be able to feel confident and comfortable making a stand.
Several homes in this canyon were feet from disaster. Other families lost everything.
It was very hard with the neighbors that we know well.
Nick feels lucky to have his home. He hopes his decision will inspire others to make the same.
This is a real message that the mitigation has mattered.
So the Schneiders went through Boulder's program called Wildfire Partners to do the mitigation work. The organization said in this wildfire area, 18 homes have participated in the program, and 9 of those survived. Marshall.
I mean, this doesn't cover all the costs, so this just helps in some way, I take it.
Yes, so Boulder County does provide some financial assistance, but not a lot of it. But he says, looking back on it, it was well worth it because it's easier to look at that than to come back to no home at all.
I remember being taught 30 feet of defensible space. I wonder if that's getting bigger now with the fires that we're seeing.
Who knows, maybe.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. The Colorado Republican Party sent out a transphobic email in support of a Republican state senator who wants nothing to do with the attacks in that email. Republican State Senator Cleve Simpson represents 14 counties in southwestern Colorado. The Democratic candidate seeking to unseat him is Vivian Smotherman, a transgender former oil and gas worker, hog farmer, and Navy veteran. The email sent by and signed by the Colorado Republican Party uses male pronouns to identify Smotherman and includes screenshots of far-right social media making other transphobic comments. Smotherman told me in a phone call that about an hour after learning about the email, Simpson called her to apologize. She said, quote, "It was very comforting when Cleve Simpson called himself. He has a deserved reputation as a good man, a decent human being with integrity. Simpson told me, quote, the comments from the state party absolutely don't align with my values." The Colorado GOP is familiar with controversy over mass emails. In June, the party sent a homophobic email entitled "God Hates Pride," along with a social media post calling for the burning of all pride flags. That's one of the reasons Party Chair Dave Williams faces an effort to remove him as head of the Republican Party. There is supposed to be a meeting a week from tomorrow to hold a vote to try to remove Williams, though Williams and other party leaders do not recognize that as an official meeting, saying it is illegal. Also happening next Saturday, the El Paso County Republicans are holding an annual dinner with an interesting choice for keynote speaker. election denier and pillow guy Mike Lindell. Lindell has been a close ally of Republican former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters, who was convicted by a jury Monday on 4 felonies for breaching her own voting systems in an unsuccessful search for election rigging. Lindell told me 2 years ago he used $800,000 of his own money for her legal defense. Well, Peters also faces an ethics complaint over that, because that could be seen as a violation of the state's constitutional limit on gifts to those who are elected. That dinner will happen right after the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Kyle will be there providing exclusive coverage of the DNC. He'll be there every day of the convention. That's a pretty neat graphic. The convention and Kyle's coverage starts Monday. An oil and gas operator with more than $1 million in fines will not have to pay those fines, partly because the company says it can't. Prospect Energy, a Highlands Ranch-based company, has agreed to stop doing business in Colorado. A state oversight commission fined the company $1.7 million because of illegal flaring, spills, and failing to do well integrity tests. The company has 49 wells in Larimer County and 10 in Fort Collins. In a meeting with the Oversight Commission, the Attorney General's office said by forgiving these fines and having the company leave the state, those wells can be put into the state's abandoned wells program before they become problematic.
This is not the ideal outcome, but the provisions set forth in this SOFV will go a long way to ensuring protections to public health, safety, welfare, the environment, and wildlife resources, especially in those communities nearest to Prospect's operations.
Prospect Energy has a separate agreement with Larimer County and Fort Collins to clean up the sites with whatever money it has left. The state's Orphan Wells program is paid for by a fee charged to other oil and gas operators. While $1.7 million may seem like a hefty fine, it's nothing compared to what one of Colorado's biggest polluters has seen. Suncor was fined $10.5 million by state regulators in a settlement for repeated air permit violations. It was the biggest settlement since 2019, when the state reached a $9 million settlement, also with Suncor. You have the power to make a power company make a change. When we reported on the mass phone calls being made by Xcel Energy last month, the company said it would change the wording of the recording to make it not confusing. The part that was confusing was that it seemed like Xcel was calling to let you know the power was about to go off, when it was anything but that. Thanks to you, Xcel has made that change.
At Xcel Energy, your safety is our priority.
This new Xcel Energy recording starts the same as the old one that 350,000 of Xcel's 1.6 million customers received last month. This was the old wording.
We're offering proactive outage notifications to customers in advance of a planned power shutoff.
But that recording was not to let you know the power was about to be shut off.
As of right now, actually, we are reevaluating our call script.
That was Xcel on July 25th, explaining the wording of the phone call would change.
We are rewriting it to make sure that we have better clarity and not confusing our customers.
The recording is really to notify customers that if they have medical needs that require power, to let Xcel know. So here is the new phone call emphasizing it is not a call about your power getting shut off.
While there are no power outages currently planned for your area, we're offering an option that can help customers with medical equipment at home prepare for potential future outages.
Customers with medical needs will be given 3 days' notice ahead of power outages and can also qualify for lower electric rates. We want to say a quick thank you for all you've done this week to support families with babies in Colorado's NICUs. Here's Kyle with an update on this week's Word of Thanks.
Thanks for being with Next while I'm away. For the parents of babies in Colorado's NICUs, it can be a scary and bewildering experience. Fortunately, there are parents who have been there who are there for them. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports the nonprofit Love for Lily. They come alongside those worried and exhausted parents and offer whatever they need. Small things like food and toiletries, other essentials. They offer group counseling sessions where parents can unpack their feelings and fears among people who truly know what it is like to have a baby in the NICU. And Love for Lily offers cash assistance for families when they take their baby home, cover the cost of oxygen, or to pay for therapies not covered by insurance, or to pay for mental health support for those parents. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to get the link to join me in donating. More than 3,000 of you have signed up to simplify your giving with a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. And that has meant that we've been able to start your recent micro-giving campaigns with $22,000 in donations each week. You can use that same QR code or text to get there.
The special session called by the governor means lawmakers who thought they were done as lawmakers are back, including those who have already been voted out or want to leave the Capitol for their peace of mind. And Denver Public School students go back to school Monday, so kids are busy soaking up the last days of summer. And that sounds like good news to me. Next. Now that the governor has called a special session, it means lawmakers who either voluntarily chose to leave the Capitol or have been voted out already come back for more work. Democratic state representatives Elizabeth Epps and Tim Hernandez lost their June primaries, meaning they will not be lawmakers next year, but they still are for a special session. Democratic State Representative David Ortiz chose not to run for a third two-year term. And most recently, Democratic State Representative Jennifer Parenti stopped running for re-election to, quote, maintain her own sense of integrity. She is still a lawmaker, though who would also be called back when the special session starts 1 week from Monday. I asked Democratic Governor Jared Polis yesterday what concerns he has of getting outgoing lawmakers back together.
You know, Marshall, you always like to frame it in the most negative way possible. I think that we have experienced, termed out legislators that I'm thrilled will be back, people like Rachel Zenzinger, people like Bob Gardner, that I didn't know we'd see again and being able to work together again.
Those are two lawmakers, state senators, who have reached their term limit, meaning they have no choice but to leave. During last year's special session, the Israel-Hamas conflict found its way into a couple floor speeches during the debate. Last year's special session was on property taxes. This year's special session is on property taxes. After several fires along the Front Range, a group is raising money for firefighters. Clothing is optional at the Fundraiser. A nudist resort in Jefferson County, Mountain Air Ranch, had to evacuate because of the quarry fire. The resort is raising money to thank the firefighters who helped save the twigs and berries.
This property is a magical place, and we take care of one another. So the thought of ever losing this sanctuary, I don't know where I would go from here. You know, it's such a beautiful group.
The fundraiser is at the nudist resort, open to everyone, clothing or not, tomorrow at noon. Denver is reporting its first human case of West Nile virus this year. Denver's Department of Public Health reports that one person was hospitalized but is now back home. 13 people have been infected statewide. Those are mainly from Arapahoe and Weld counties. Everyone has survived. Last year was Colorado's worst year for West Nile in 2 decades, with 50 deaths and more than 600 cases across the state. It turns out West Nile has a season that ends by the first freeze in the fall. For the first time in my life, the Denver metro area could escape the close watch of the EPA when it comes to outdoor carbon monoxide air pollution. Thanks to the brown cloud of my youth, when cold temperatures trapped pollutants close to the ground, the EPA designated the Denver metro area a, quote, non-attainment area for carbon monoxide for exceeding air quality standards. That began in 1978. Well, in the last 20 years, thanks in part to vehicle emission testing and cleaner fuels, our air quality is now within compliance with federal standards. Corey knows all about inversion and the brown cloud. So from the second best beard on this show now to the best beard. Inversion, we going to deal with any of that over the next week or two, or just hot temperatures, keeping the heat and the air clean?
Thank you, my brother, about the beard. Yeah, no inversions. So the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide problem, not an issue, but we will have the ozone issue because we have a lot of heat and sunshine, which bakes those pollutants and creates a secondary pollutant called ozone. So we will have that in the next couple of days. We've been tracking the heat in this summer, and we've had another 90-degree day today. That makes 45. We'll hit average tomorrow with still a month and a half to go. We're about 10 behind the pace of 2020 there. So we're technically on pace to hit about 65 90-degree days total before October 1st, which would be about fourth most all time. Tomorrow's 90 is going to be a hot one. Forecast is 98 degrees. That would actually tie a record if we get there, and I think we could. Look at these temperatures. Even the mountains will be hot here. 80s in the Summit County mountain towns, 90s and 100s out here on the eastern plains. That air quality is expected to stay in the unhealthy for sensitive groups region tomorrow because of ozone, and this is going to keep us in the hot, dry weather for several days here. This high pressure ridge over the central United States could keep us at or above 90 for the next 10 consecutive days.
You guys excited to be going back to school?
Yeah. Kind of.
Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad. 2 out of 3 is a fraction. You learn fractions in school. Wait, I'm getting away from the good news part. Next. RTD is telling Broncos fans to take the light rail to get to the Broncos preseason game against the Packers on Sunday. Now, I'm no expert in this territory. No, I am. Picture the Broncos' slowest offensive lineman. Do you think he could beat a light rail train to the stadium? Light rail trains in the southeast and southwest corridors are still slowing down to 10 miles per hour on some parts of the track for maintenance work. The slowdowns on the southwest line last 6 miles. That's on the left side of your screen, from Evans to Littleton. On the southeast line, the slowdown lasts 4 miles, from DU to Southmore. Also a slowdown on the R line from Dayton to 9 Mile. Those slowdowns are going to add about a full half of football to your trip. So start figuring out a time to leave to get to the game early, and perhaps you leave the game early to get home on time. Come Monday, no more sleeping in and playing all day for students in Denver Public Schools. One of my favorite spots when on summer break, Waterworld, where we asked our favorite Friday question, what's your good news?
My name is Kelly Flowers. I'm the Community Relations Manager for Waterworld. And my good news of the day is that it's another beautiful Friday at Waterworld, and we have tons of people in the park soaking up the last of summer. You know, it's been really hot out, so we've had tons of people coming into the park, you know, cooling off and spending time with their family.
My good news is I have the day off, and I'm spending our last day at Waterworld today with My Little Mermaid.
The good news of the day is it's the weekend and we're starting school on Monday.
We are celebrating another beautiful sunny day at Waterworld. We have a lot of people, you know, soaking up the last of summer before they head back to school.
This is so much of a hurrah because most of the kids have gone back to school.
And we're just excited to have them all here, getting ready for kind of our last few weekends of the season.
Well, good news today. I like Waterworld. It's really fun.
I will miss her, but also I will get bills paid and sweep the floor and do dishes and do all those things I've been neglecting.
My name is Mason, and the good news of the day is that we're going to eat lunch.
I did wakeboarding. I tried. It's not working for me.
We are seeing a lot of people coming to really enjoy the last few days of their summer vacation. We actually met a family the other day too where their kids had gone back to school, so the parents, it was their day to play instead.
I'd rather be here. Yeah, I'd rather be here.
Me too.
My secret to Waterworld was never going on a Friday, going midweek, go when there was a thunderstorm coming, and if the storm came in, you had a free pass to come back another day. I don't know if that still exists. Back with your feedback next. The most Colorado thing we saw today was kind of fluffy, an animal who just wanted an education. It was the first day of school at Crystal River Elementary in Carbondale, and students were greeted by, in the background, a lost llama or alpaca. We still don't know. Feel free to let us know. Even the police weren't sure. Police say the kids named him Ed. Ed tried to blend in, enjoying the playground and field. A local rancher took Ed away from the school to await its owner, and Ed was reunited with his owner, again, not that person in the foreground, this afternoon. Jerry says he wants to applaud the Mountain Air Ranch for holding the clothing optional thank you. He wishes he could attend, naturally, of course.